Yo, what's going on, guys? Jared here. Today I have another deck profile for you today, and I have seen your comments, I have seen your requests, and I am finally giving you guys a Naturia Runick deck profile. Now, I need to explain something first of all before I show you guys this deck list, and I also have a replay to show you as well. Naturia Runick is a very specific deck that was specifically when I used it in that YCS, it was specifically good against tier limits, and it was built for tier limits using the shufflers and your opponent's millers to net you advantage. That does not exist anymore because tier limits just got annihilated. So this deck has to be reformed and recreated into a different light completely. This is by far not a final version at all. This is just an idea that I had that I wanted to try out, and so far has been working good in mock draw and hands and been very consistent. Now, with all of that being said, please subscribe because I would absolutely love it if you did. And I'm going to now show you the list, and do not judge too quickly. I promise you this does make sense. Okay guys, here is the list. I know what you're thinking. Jared, what the hell am I even looking at? I promise you there is theory and then this works. I need to go over some cards before you you can grasp it. I'm going to go through the card by card, and then I'm going to explain them as I go, because it's very important that you understand what I'm going for now, because this deck has to do new options and new ways to play. It also, you need to be able to compete because if you go first with a normal Naturia board, Kashtira breaks it quite easily, unfortunately. So you need a lot of Runicks in your hand, and you need some bigger monsters to be able to compete with things like Fenrir and Unicorns, inherent special summons, and being able to enter battle phase and just attack over something like Sunflower. So this is something I am trying, and that this, again, I cannot reiterate enough, this is not a final version, but this is something that I at least wanted to try. Again, so far it has been drawing very well, and the end boards have been pretty good. So starting off, we have 2 copies of Ash for now. I did want to play 3 just because of Branded Fusion and Book of Eclipse seeing so much play, but as of now, I cannot fit it. Also, this deck draws so many cards that I don't even know if I want to play through, because if I have 2 in my hand, I'm pretty upset about it. And when I say this deck draws so many cards, I have legitimately drawn let me think about this, 3, I did 3 off 2 fountain, 3 off each fountain of 6, and I used all 3 bamboo swords plus a coral dragon, so that's 6, 13 cards I've drawn in 1 turn off of this deck. That is crazy. And yeah, so I just wanted to, it's like, you don't want to draw 2 Ash Blossoms in your, for your opponent's turn, you only want 1 pretty much, so yeah. Moving forward past Ash Blossom, we have the normal Naturia lineup, except for 1 specific card. I'm going to explain why it's in here. So we have the 3 Camellia, 3 Mole Cricket, 1 Sunflower, and then we added the 1 Hydrangea. Now, I only know this card existed because of, 1, Duel Links, because I used to play Duel Links, and this card was actually played in the Naturia deck in Duel Links, but this was also a super old card that I remember from when I was a kid, from when Hidden Arsenal, I believe 3 came out. It was one of the more explosive Naturia monsters. This is explosive. During your turn, if the effective Naturia monster was activated on your field, you can special summon this card from your hand. So, luckily it says during your turn, this is not specifically a trigger effect. This just means that if in Naturia this turn has been activated on your field, you are allowed to special discard from your hand, I believe as an inherent summon. So pretty much what the play line here is, and the goal would be to activate a way to get to Naturia Camellia with either Mole Cricket or normal summoning Camellia. And again, this deck can still do the normal Runick pitch tree, get Camellia play to search it, right? Camellia dump tree, and then tree no longer getting blessing. We're going to be searching for this 1 of Hydrangea. What this does is a level 5 non-tuner extender. You can special summon the Hydrangea, so this makes 1 card into a level 9 synchro. The level 9 synchro that we are going to get into, I'm going to explain it in a little bit actually, but just remember that the Naturia standard play now is to go into a level 9 synchro for this build. So again, like I said, we put the 3 Mole Cricket and the Sunflower. I'm not set in stone on what interruption I want right now, right? Because also, I think against Kashtira, something like Horn Needle might be better, but I don't know yet. Sunflower is still really good, still generically like the best one in my opinion, but things like Vayne against Branded is pretty good. Sunflower against the Bishiels are really good still. Stuff like that. Like every Naturia has its own uses, and with the format being so open, it's very hard to pick and choose which bricks that are actually make the interruptions you want to play, because there's a lot of them. So for now, I'm going to stay safe and just steal you Sunflower. But it's up to you. Again, this is going to be a lot of testing involved in this. Now, this is where the deck's going to take a sharp left turn into what the hell am I even making? So I am playing a Bamboo Sword package, and for those of you who don't know, this package is 3 cards. The 3 cards are Cursed Bamboo Sword, Golden Bamboo Sword, and one original Bamboo Sword. I'm going to go over these cards real fast, just so that you know what they do. So the equipped monster gains 0 attack for Cursed. You can target a Bamboo Sword you control, return it to the hand, and the equipped monster can attack your opponent directly. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 Bamboo Sword card from your deck to your hand, except Cursed. Okay, pretty straightforward. The attack thing does come up, but it's mostly for the search. That's the most important thing, and the fact that it's an equip. Now, going to Golden Bamboo Sword. If you control a Bamboo Sword equip spell, draw 2 cards. Yeah, it's Pot of Greed. This card is literally Pot of Greed. So you have a equip and a card that an equip that searches, and then we also have a Pot of Greed if that equips on the field. Lastly, we have Original Bamboo Sword. The equipped monster gains 0 attack. When the equipped monster inflicts battle damage to your opponent by a direct attack, you can destroy all monsters your opponent controls. There is synergy between Cursed and the original Bamboo Sword here. You can make it attack directly and then equip the original back onto it, and then just hit directly and clear all their monsters. This is actually pretty decent against Kashtira, funny enough, because they don't really have anything to stop this if you're not using any monster effects, so just something I thought was pretty interesting. While it's equipped to a monster, you can send it to the graveyard to equip 1 Bamboo Sword equip spell from your deck to 1 face-up monster on the field, except another original Bamboo Sword. So pretty much this is just another Cursed Bamboo Sword name that you're going to need for the level 9 synchro we are going to be making. Moving forward past the Bamboo Sword package, again, this is mostly just a draw engine, but it also ends on an extra interruption, which is nice. 3 Naturia Blessings now. With us cutting, well, we need to start from the beginning, I suppose. With Tearlament no longer being in the meta, we no longer are forced to play the Ishizu Shufflers. So I can just cut those out of my deck. I've always said those are the worst cards in the deck. Their main use would be to shuffle back your Naturia package back into the deck to use it again. And they're just not good. They're not good cards, and I don't want them in my deck. I'd rather just take out the bricky cards and put in better cards, like more blessings. You want to draw into this, and it not being once per turn is a huge deal because you can make some crazy boards with like drawing multiple blessings. Going past to the blessings now, we're going to get to the Runick package. The Runick package is the same. It is still the 5 best Runick cards at 3, and then 2 fountains. It was still Destruction, Flashing Fire, Freezing Curses, Slumber, and Tip, and then the 2 fountains. Obviously, that's the same. And then we play the 3 Sacred Trees still, because discarding it off of a Runick card adds so much consistency to the Naturia package. It is crazy. Going on to the extra deck, we have the same Runick package as before, the 2 Hugin and the Jerry, but we did add 1 more in the level 5 Frankie, or Frankie, whatever you want to call it. The effect is irrelevant. It is a level 5 pretty much, but if it is destroyed, you can target a Runick quick point and add it to your hand. I shouldn't say it's irrelevant. That is very relevant because, and the reason why this is relevant, first of all, is that 1, you can summon this in the battle phase when you're trying to pressure and beat over a monster to help clear the board to help go for games in some scenarios. 2, if you have Baron to 4 on the field, you can actually summon this with a Runick spell. Let's say you have a bad one like Slumber, and you'd rather have Flashing Fire against Kashtira, right? You would Slumber, bring out Freki, and then use your Baron to 4 to pop your Freki to then add back the Flashing Fire that was in your graveyard. So that's just something that to keep in mind for, little Runick interaction that you can do. So yeah, that's it for the Runick fusions in the extra deck for now. Going to the synchros now. Again, this is where the power still lies in this deck. 1 copy of Baron to 4, 1 copy of Coral Dragon, 1 copy of Naturia Beast, and this is the level 9 that I wanted to talk about. Power Tool Braver Dragon. This card is crazy. So this is a generic level 9 synchro that only has 1 tuner and 1 non-tuner. So that is including Camellia and Naturia Hydrangea. If this card is special summoned, not synchro summoned, special summoned, so you can also revive this back off of Baron to 4 and it will trigger again. You can equip up to 3 equip spells with different names from your deck and or graveyard to this card. So if you already used your original Bamboo Sword or you're out of Cursed Bamboo Swords, you can still re-equip them from the graveyard. Just equips it to it. During the main phase, quick effect says, during either player's main phase as a quick effect, you can send 1 equip spell from this card to the graveyard and target 1 effect monster on the field. Either changes battle position or negate its effects. That sounds extremely mediocre until you put it in the context with Bamboo Sword cards. you can immediately, on summoning this, you can put it in defense, equip the original and cursed, use the original to equip a second cursed, then use the effect to change its own battle position to attack mode, by sending one of the cursed, use the curse in the graveyard to add golden, and then you draw 2 cards. Now, in retrospect, when you're thinking about it, you're like, okay, that doesn't sound amazing, but you're getting all of this off of 1 card, and that being a Camellia resolving. So 1 Naturia Camellia or Mole Cricket is a interruption on your opponent's turn and a Pot of Greed. That is a lot for 1 card. And that is something that I think is very frightful for, a lot of decks. So moving on, we have the normal other synchros as Stardust Charge Warrior, the level 10 Sword Soul Supreme Sovereign Chenying, and then the 1 Trishula still. Again, this needs a lot of testing. I don't know if Trishula is still going to be played. This is a first draft. Again, I need to make this deck also be able to play around the Kashtira, Unicorn Rips. There's a lot of variables in this format that are still not settled yet. So again, this is just the first draft of me trying things. Going on to the Exceeds, we have the 1 copy of Zeus, the 1 copy of Arise Heart, the 1 copy of Dugaras, and then the 1 copy of Dark Charmer for the only link for now. I do not think any of these are set in stone. I had Arise Heart in here for a possible side deck option of Reaper, but I'm not sure yet. These are all things that I am just completely testing out, and there's room in this extra deck, and also depending on how you build it with Unicorn Rips and other variables that you might want to make in this deck, like such as Dweller and Babushka again and stuff like that, you might want to switch it around. But again, this is just a very early draft of a deck like this, but the concept is here. And overall, I hope you guys like the deck list. Now I'm going to show you guys a replay of pretty much what this end board can do, and it draws a lot of cards. So let me show it to you real quick. Okay guys, so here is the replay. We have 2 copies of Destruction, 1 Camellia, 1 Sacred Tree, and 1 Tip. I'm going to show you what this hand can do with this deck list in particular. So of course we're going to use the Destruction to then pitch the Sacred Tree to add Fountain, and then we're going to use the Sacred Tree to add Blessing. The reason we add Blessing is because we already have Camellia. Normally in the other builds, we would just want to be able to get Mole Cricket and get the Mole Cricket in Graveyard, but I do not think Mole Cricket in Graveyard is as impactful as it used to be. I think it's still good, but I don't think it's as impactful as it used to be, so just something to keep in mind now. So now we can normal summon the Camellia to dump the other tree to now add the Hydrangea. Now, of course, we can special summon the Hydrangea and Synchro for a level 9 in our Braver Dragon. Use our Braver Dragon effect to equip our 2 Bamboo Swords. Use the Bamboo Swords so that we can start doing our combo and get our Golden. Now we can Golden Bamboo Sword, draw our 2 cards, activate Fountain, use our Blessing to get back Camellia, and then start synchroing like we used to do in the last build of Naturia Runick. We can go into our Coral Dragon, special summon our Jerry still, and then synchro for Baron. Now we have our Coral Dragon draw. Now we can use our Tip that we were holding so that we can get a full 3 value Runick Fountain now. And we're going to draw 3 more cards. Now, keep in mind, I actually did not draw any more Golden Bamboo Swords, but it happens a lot of the time where you are using this card like 2 to 3 times in one turn because you just keep drawing into them. But even with only using 1, we still drew like 6 cards that turn, which is absurd. Now, imagine this going in a side deck variant, like you're siding in your cards and then you are drawing this many cards in your main deck is crazy. So, just with where we are now, we already have a Baron Negate, a Braver Monster Negate, a Destruction Pop, a Tip Search, a Flashing Fire, and the Freezing Curses. So we have access to all 5 Runick cards. And more than likely, we are also going to be drawing into an Ash Blossom and Joyous Springs just because of how many cards we've already drawn. Probability-wise is what I'm speaking. Now, on the opponent's turn, you can actually use the one of the Runicks to summon Hugin pitch Sunflower, get the other Fountain, and then you can also use Blessing to special summon back Camellia, and then Camellia can dump Tree and search another Blessing if you want to. But then when your opponent summons, you can then bring back the Sunflower off of the Camellia, and then what this does is that it pressures your opponent to go in the battle phase. When they go in the battle phase, you can now use Power Tool Braver's effect to put that monster in defense position, because it also does that. So this is a actually pretty decent counter to Kashtira if you are being able to, put all these interruptions out and all these cards out. So, yeah, that's the replay I have for you guys. Again, you can draw more Bamboo Sword cards. You can make more interruptions if you draw more Blessings. I don't want to say the options are limitless, but they're pretty damn good. So overall, I hope you guys enjoyed this deck list and this little profile that I did. Again, this is something completely different from what I was doing before, but I think it's definitely something worth looking into, to say the least. I know Hydrangea is a very out there old card, but yeah, just something that I never forgot about, even from when I was, way younger and from Duel Links. So overall, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.